Good morning. Everybody had a great weekend. We have MT Live this week, everyone. Wednesday, 12 o'clock. Sure you join us. Let's get some charts up here. So yeah, yesterday, Friday was a big reversal day. And I wish it had occurred with a different type of a setup across the markets. Because this retest and reversal tells us that it's a strong area of support, no doubt. But it happened at a whole number in that bottoming tail bar. And overall, we just have a big old trading range here and just been pretty erratic versus something that had come down maybe more decisively and had this type of reversal. But we'll just have to see how far this goes. As you could see here last night, the enthusiasm continued and it didn't reach resistance before sellers came in and knocked it right back down again. Let's move this over a little bit. You can see, as it moved up, and for whatever reason, you can see a little after around 4:30 in the morning, it got knocked back down. I think that's a bad tick, but I don't think it went and reversed up there like that. Yeah, you can see the way it popped up and came right back in again. So what that tells us is that sellers took control before it reached resistance. Similarly, well, not so much here, but if you look at the S&P, and maybe it was the Qs that's I think it did, it started to move up. But if you look at the S&P on Friday, it didn't reach that resistance area. But this was down um, near 600 and support. I say the S&P didn't reach the support area, and that turned up. This went up. And that means they were anticipating to buy, which so was I, but the S&P didn't get down there, and unfortunately, it didn't chase it and miss that move up. In any event, uh, sellers came in, as I said, ahead of coming up to where the resistance was, and you see it's somewhat stabilized near that pivot, and I think that's pre-market. That broke below there. That you can see during the day trading. And so does it come all the way back down there? And I talked about that in the weekend letter because this reversal being what it is was it just a technical bounce that got very enthusiastic? Whatever the reasoning that we can come up with why something happens, there's a big green candle here next to a bottoming tail candle, and that's good for a buy bias. What we'd like to see is some consolidation, which may be in the cards today. But what we don't want to see is a big red ugly candle. I kind of do, tell you the truth, because I think it would set up a nice setup for a move lower. What I mean by that, it's going to start the day somewhere, I guess, down here. And if we were to get a red candle like that, that's a continuation long, and the continuation would be from the high that began here. And this would be a bearish 180 in an area that theoretically should hold, which could lead to some type of a decline, down to the next support area. We'll just have to see if that's what unfolds or not, or what kind of day this is. That's what we do every day, right? All right. So that's the cues. Pretty much things are just starting out basically where they ended the day on Friday. So overall, from a daily chart perspective, nothing happening here this morning other than recognizing it gave up the gain before getting to resistance. And you got two red bars on the weekly time frame, which you can see over here, but it's an uptrend and prices are holding. Let's look at the spiders, and this is what I was talking. It just didn't get down there. And buyers came in well above that area. Now they didn't get very deep into the red candle. So when we look at a reversal candle like that, how far did it penetrate into a prior red candle versus just, it was a technical bounce, it got near support, it was down, down, big gap down, and it rallied up here. How meaningful was that move up off of the low? Well, other than saying, well, it was meaningful because it's a big green candle, well, how far did it penetrate really on a closing basis into the red candle? Not at all. But back to the same thing here today, meaning where does this end the day? To the top of this candle. If it dips, is a bottoming tail candle. In other words, we're looking for more information here because this in of itself is not enough to act on this as far as a directional trade, not for me, because of this sideways, the lower high coming down like that. However, put spreads, this is the kind of price pattern that credit spread traders love because as far as the selling goes, unless there was a collapse today, and that's the risk any credit spread trader takes, and we all take that no matter what we do, is the unknown. What's the future? We really don't know. We make an assumption about the unknown. But when you got a bottoming tail candle and buyers coming in ahead of that, even though they didn't penetrate very far, what's the probability of staying above this area today? 0 DTE. I think it's pretty darn good, unless there's some, another unknown news unfolds. What's the probability of it staying above this area until Friday or Wednesday? Gets a little more cloudy. You say, I'm not so sure. But today, stay above here today, should be a no-brainer. So then we look at SPX. And the prices are up there. The put spread, the lower put spread is down here. It's below 66.50. It's slightly below 6,600. Is it going down there today? Heck no. No. Will it get below 66.50? Yeah, that's within the realm of possibilities. 5-day average true range, about 90 points. This bar right here, that range is 127 points. Well, so again, this is the average. This is what the last 2 days were. And so 100 points from here, right? Could it get down here? Yeah. So somewhere down here is where you'd want to be thinking for a put spread. Now you can go down here, right, at the open, and you have to go real wide to get your money. But is it going down there like most days? No, it didn't go to any of the strikes on Friday either. It got close on the upside, but didn't get there. And so, again, this here is above a whole number. Is it likely to go up there? Unlikely, but certainly within the realm of possibilities, more so than down here. But there you go. All right, mastertrader.com holiday deals. Check them out. All right, IWM, not looking so good. You can see what's happened here and what's changed. Now we got this big rounding top. And there's a lot of this out there. Right? We covered this in the weekend letter. There's a lot of charts that look bad, that are broken down. So again, under the hood, breath over there, it's bad. It's bad. But we look at the broader markets and say, what are they likely to do? So we don't know as far as, hey, look, on a day-to-day basis, anything's possible. But there's an awful lot of overhead resistance there. And so with a rounding top, we'd sure like to see this come lower. When I got this line here, I'd like to see it somewhere getting stretched to the downside. That opens up a void for it to go back up again. That's the essence of what we're looking for in our trades. Show me something that either has a trend and a void or a downtrend and a void. What creates a void? Price movement and time. We don't have that right now. Diamonds, and they led the way up and come slamming right back down again. And so they didn't recover as much. And we see they're not really doing too much here. And I think a little more sideways price action, maybe by 10 o'clock, we'll have some insight as to which way things might go. Because right now, I think most are uncertain because of Friday's rally, which was positive. However, things came down during the week after them having being up, which is negative and uncertainty. Whatever's in an uptrend, IWM isn't. A lot of things aren't. So kind of in limbo as far as a very committed bias one way or another without more information. It is what it is. All right. Take a peek at the VIX, not telling us much of anything. That went up. Same story. We look for clues as to what might guide us with a greater ability to say which way things might be going. Crude oil, just a mess. Spike up, chopping, 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 and a big nasty red bar. And here on a closing basis, it's closing deep into the red bar. So this suggested it was going to go down, and this now says, I'm not so sure. Putting that in the context of this move up, so far this just looks like a choppy consolidation where buyers believe this is a good place to buy and sellers think to sell, and we need things to tighten up. You can see the moving averages are starting to come together. And we use the analogy about winding the spring, and that's what's happening here. Bitcoin, that got slammed. And you can see the weekly chart over here, which is looking like it's got to go lower. So the same type of thinking, right? Went sideways, it broke down, went under a big whole number. It should keep going lower, lower to where they bought before. And if buyers should show up before it gets down there and they begin to anticipate, which they might at 90,000 or on the way down, we'll wait to see the same thing, wash, repeat. What kind of candles do we get? Some kind of a pattern like this, even on the daily time frame. So the assumption is here, this is going lower. Could look at this one here. It's holding up a little better. It's on the 200, but it's unlikely to hold either while the other's going down. Interest rates. This is a bit of a problem now. Higher low, big wide range bar there. Set an alert. If this clears here, I believe the market's going lower. If the 10-year goes up above these highs, keep an eye on that. And gold, and it came down really aggressively. So this is a stay away for now. I don't know what this is going to do. Over here, I thought it would go lower, and then it set up higher. And we had this as in the green room as the miners play. GDX was great. Then it's come all the way back down again. So more uncertainty there. And the same thing with silver. So the short of all of that is, I think, whether you're running the green room, a hedge fund, whatever, there's uncertainty out there and everybody's looking for more information and guidance. And as economic numbers come out, whatever it is that we're going to focus on that's going to guide us, well, for us, it's going to be the chart. We'll just have to see how it unfolds. All yours, Dan.
Morning. Yeah, market started off more bullish today and then just slowly deteriorating. We have very light inventory, which is good. It was very hard finding good directional trades over the weekend. We got a couple that obviously are superior looking to the broader markets. But credit spreads were easy, particularly because this is the third expiration. So we didn't have third Friday of the month. So we didn't have the problem of great pattern, but it's 3 weeks out. So let's look at alarms here. This is quality. Yeah, got this from old Sam. Igniting gap up. I'm assuming it was earnings, but whether it was earnings or CEO left, or it doesn't matter the reason. It's an igniting gap. We got to pull back. We got a 180 reversal. Now this Wednesday MT Live, we'll be talking about big bars, and this is a great example when we talk about a potent turn. This is perfect. So it's a 180 reversal, minor support. So I had an up gap right here. So I'll just have to watch that at the open, see what it does. Hope it doesn't gap up too much. Coco was on the weekend ladder breakout, and it had some positive news or positive barons, so that's messing up our trade. Man, look at the size of that gap. I'd be selling here pre-market if I were in it. So that's ruined. Region, we're in up alarm, so I tighten the stuff here. Let me see, did I get that to you all? There you go. We got a nice, beautiful, beautiful entry here in this kind of ascending triangle breakout. Again, whenever we have an MT Live, it's so easy for me to point out examples left and right. So big bars. Here's your big bar. But where are you going to get on? The thing ran from 575 to 655. I'll tell you when I see it, when I have a pattern, and ours was right there. But that big bar is an igniting breakout. PSEC, another buy setup. Sam, I think that was you. I'm not sure, I forget. I like to give credit when you all give me an idea because it makes you feel good and me feel good. Why does it make me feel good? Because it's like our traders are following what we're teaching, kind of like a dog. Have you ever called a dog, Sam, a hunting dog? Alex is my hunting dog. It's like, here's our method, here's our patterns. Now go to the market and find me these pictures. And then you come back and I'll tell you if it's a good picture or not. So yeah, that's good. I don't know why my alarm went off. You know what? Is this one in the letter? I forget. Let me look. No, we only gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 7, but I canceled the cool or Coco. So we only got 7. Okay, so this one I did not put in it, but I set an alarm. And I guess that I don't know what set it off. I'll reset it at 281. See right there on the 15-minute chart breakout. Yeah, I did it 7, 8. That's why my alarm went off. NG alarm. All right, so this one's a little, well, this one we're already in, but it's gold. It's actually an ad. If it can, this is what we call a continuation pattern. Gapped up, it's just chopping around, has a void. CMDB. That's a 1, 2, 3. I would have put this one in the letter, but look at the volume. No volume, but that's a beautiful pattern. Consolidation, you have to converging 20 into rising 50, breakout, void. All right, that's great. All right, and then Apple. This is our only open in the weekly options trader, and it's gapping against us because, the stupid thing, Buffett comes out and says he's sold shares. But we have a 267.50, so we still have over $2 of comfort, but let's move stop 30-minute low, but it's a potential problem child. And Google actually is up big for the opposite reason that Buffett said he bought a ton of shares of this. That's wow, it's way off the high. It was gapping all-time highs, and now it's back to. All right, well, there's nothing to do with it, regardless. Let's go up to earnings here. There's not many, and let's go through whatever watch list I have. QUBT, $12. This could be a put spread idea. Nice gap. There was a lot of climbers that you'll see in our weekly options letter. A lot of climbers that we're going to do put spreads on. So that's an idea on a pullback. This is a penny stock. Yeah, it's junk. Hey, look at the California Princess. This is strong, big bar into earnings. Obviously an ADR, foreign company. No pattern though, but it's bullish, daily, weekly, monthly. This is a bottoming pattern. Kind of trades like light volume now. It goes a million. Penny stock again. If you get a 1, 2, 3 though, it looks like it can maybe go to 90 cents, which would be a massive return. XPAV is a buy setup. Gapping down $1 though, so now it's a deep retracement. We'll come back to it. A tip. It's bullish, but I mean, this one, if it can stabilize for a couple days, it's far from the 20, but daily, weekly, monthly are bullish. And it has room to 48. But it's too wild right now. I don't feel like watching it. ARMK, $35. That's a bearish gap down, but no pattern. And look at the overlapping bars. It's more chaotic. Zulu Kilo looks like an ADR also, but that's a gap breakdown. That could be a 30-minute low trade. Kind of a descending triangle. It's an ADR, so it's gapping, but it's lower. BRC 78. There you go. There's a good gap. See, I like the gaps that gap just over resistance with a void. So that looks good. Let's put that in this 5-minute window. Watch. BRC. JKS is a sloppy buy setup. So let's keep an eye on it for a put spread. Maybe 30-minute high. I don't know. We'll come back to it. YSG, junky bottoming pattern. And that's it. On earnings. All right, look at these couple. I just got miscellaneous things here from the news. All right, that's that Google, Apple we talked about, DPZ. I think Buffett was accumulating this. That's potential bottoming pattern. It's at least worth watching. NUE, I think he said he dumped or something. But if this took out Friday's high, it would be a bear sandwich. But now that it's down, I thought it was up this morning. Gap, I don't know what the news is, but this is a continuation pattern. What, well, we don't have time for quizzes. But it's a possible rectangle. Here's your flagpole. It is, well, this says 1120. But okay, I mean, this can be wrong, of course. So, well, I guess we do need to know if it's 20 or not, so we don't put on a trade. But and now it's gapping up in the flat to down market. So it's a possible, flag, rectangle, whatever. It's consolidating bullish. This one, same, but it's farther from the 20. So it needs to stabilize more. So I will just watch it. And as long as it bobbles around, stays above 1570, I think, this eyeball and retracement, then that's constructive. SMCI, it's another climb out. I got an alarm. I'm gonna set a new alarm now, 3650. Now that it's selling off more. And remember when this thing used to trade like lockstep? Not lockstep, but it was acting like a cousin of Nvidia. There was a couple months where something happened in Nvidia, and then people would just pile on this thing. Sigma has a big old gap here. Sigma Lithium. So I don't know if there's any cousins. There's nothing to do with this stock. But if something's going on with lithium, I don't know what the cousins are though. Zyme. All right, thanks. Zyme gap's too big, but that's bullish. Black. No pattern unless it took out Thursday's high. Well, it is gapping up here. So yeah, that's kind of telling me that there could be something going on in the sector. Let me set an alarm at 485, which is still not a good pattern, but Albemarle looks like stronger, but no pattern. Unless put spread here 108 would be okay. Let me log in. Stupid Schwab doesn't let me have. So I have my account on two computers anymore. So you can somebody can see if there's something at 108. A Dollar Tree up alarm. Oh, good. We were long this on this. It's the pseudo bear sandwich breakout, and it went against us. So now I'll just reset my alarm. Yeah, I'm not expecting many alarms here. Expecting this usually Monday morning, so I'm slammed, but yeah, I don't think so today for two reasons. We don't have many opens and not as many new trade ideas. Man, we're not getting a catastrophic gap in the market. All right, this EE middle chart. Yeah, EE's okay. E is a go. See, it's because it's not extended. EE 2792. Shoe. Shoe triggered cleanly. That looks good. Or show, rather. A monster alarm. Alex, that's you. Ramp alarm. Munster. Here's another um, rectangle. Here's your flagpole. It's consolidating. Bullish weekly monthly. So this is an idea for 30-minute high. I'll put it in a window. Um,
Yeah, and take a look at Seagate Technology. That might be, if you can get far enough away. I didn't check earnings. It could be a long, but it needs to develop more.
Yeah, I had this as a put spread, WDC, stronger. Like I think a tad more fluid. It's just, they're cooked on the weekly and monthly, but for a put spread, it hasn't triggered yet, but it's acting well this morning. All right, lack. No, I'm sorry. It looks like come down hard. I'm like crazy about them. And then the 15 minutes for me is not tight enough for a day trade, but getting a reversal here on the cues. Um, that's yes, monster. Monster looks great, Alex. I like your monster better than Lumina. Coco's flying, but as I said, man, that's a big gap. Many times those Barron's articles, you would think they would have positive effect, but sometimes they don't. All right, we're already in NG, but if it closes like this, you can add tomorrow. It's a beautiful continuation. I mean, I'd want to see what GDX is doing, of course. We're actually at break even right now, Greg, FYI. That's why my alarm went off. We're back to break even on this. We entered on the gap breakout day. No, we entered over this red bar. So we're at break even, FYI.
It's fine to me.
I don't know, I do break evens many times just to have
I hate that term,
what?
break even.
Why?
I don't like break even. We want to make money.
I know, but I only do that on things that go against us.
Yeah, but that's got a bullish gap. I mean, let's see what it does.
All right, that's all. Friday Apple, I said we could have got out break even.
I got a little rejection at the end of the day, but you know, everything is kind of questionable here. And Apple should have gapped up today. I don't know. Well, you said there was some news.
Yeah, Buffett was selling.
Now, if Apple was break even, I would tell you to kill it.
I no kidding. We're at a big loss now. Friday it was break even. When it was selling off into the close, I mentioned that I could kill it. All right, this thing triggered. Let's see what the juice bar is. 149, 145. Oh man, the spreads are ludicrous. Let's kill it. Kill it. Spreads are ludicrous. Microsoft up alarm. That was a client. That was a put spread too. Let me check juice bar there. Yeah, Monster. I like my Monster Mash. I was hoping it would give us a 30-minute high entry, but maybe not. Stock don't care what I want. Yeah, looks great. Should I give half now, Greg, or 30-minute high?
You asking me?
Mm-hmm.
If it's triggered on the time frame you're looking at, and then it's triggered.
Well, but sometimes you say that I mean, you don't have a clear definition for me at least, because you could easily say, well, what if it closes with a topping tail? You
Well,
know?
that's true. If you don't have a setup that would say to do something,
Well, the
meaning
setup's a breakout.
if you had a buy setup or a breakout and it's breaking out above resistance, that's it.
But all
Whereas if it's just
setups,
developing and it hasn't broke out yet, then you've got to wait.
but all the time when I say something that's triggered, or else I wouldn't even bring it up.
No, not really.
All
But
right, well,
anyway, if
show
you're
me.
uncertain, do half and put a stop under the day's low.
Well, it'd be Friday slow. And like day trading today's slow. I'm talking about swing.
I know what you're
Weekly,
talking about.
weekly, monthly look great. All right, let's do half.
Well, if you're going to do half, you got to put a stop at the bottom of the base.
Say again.
If you're going to do half, you put a stop at the bottom of the base and let it wiggle around.
Thursday's low is fine. All right, back to Microsoft. What is the premium here? And monster spreads are too wide for a put spread. This is a beautiful short-term reversal that involves, whatever, 9 bars. All right, so the 497. Oh, actually, I said 490s. You know why? Because they didn't have 492.50s. Um,
So here's an example of an alert of mine that just went off. That would be like
yeah, gotcha.
nothing you can do yet because the bar's not done. But it would imply potentially, if you get far enough away, a call spread. Now I know it went up strongly, but look at CME. It's a red bar. It hasn't taken out any support. A bar of that size would imply that it's not going to take out the high, possibly, but you don't have anything that's triggered anything yet.
All right.
Yeah, I'll open my charts. Yes.
Well, correct. My entry on this would be Thursday's low. So let's say it took out Thursday's low, um, in an hour,
Okay.
but then it's
Well, so that's a personal choice, and with credit spreads, the premium might not be there. So yeah, I get it. But MSTR, that's taking out multiple pivot highs.
you mean
Uh, you
Microsoft?
know,
Microsoft?
you want me to look at Microsoft?
No, what you said Mr. and that's not right symbol. You
Oh,
mean
I'm showing
Monster?
I'm showing Mister on my chart, so I know you're not looking at my chart.
Uh, that's Monster. That's what's throwing me off. That's Monster,
Oh,
not Mister.
oh, so what's the symbol of the one you're talking about?
That's Monster. But you
Okay.
you said Mister, and Mister is MicroStrategy. That's
No, no. Well, I'm sorry, whatever I said. I was talking about CME, and then I went back to
right, a
Monster or
Monster.
Mister or whatever.
Got it, right, got it. Yeah. This is a bio though, Thomas. Biotherapeutics, but it is a nice pattern. I would like it better if it closed like this and then do it over today's high. Look at the breakdown failure on the daily and weekly. So I like the patterns, just bio risk.